Hello! So today I'm going to be making one of April's soaps, and this one I made last year as well, but it's going to have a whole new color scheme and design to it. This one is Be Here Now. It's inspired by one of my personal heroes, Ram Dass. I have my butters and oils melted and mixed with the lye water solution, so we are ready to go with this. Please ignore the children in the background. Sorry if it bothers you. So the scent is just the same as last year. It's a blend called Meditate, and it is just absolutely perfect for this. It is patchouli, vetiver, sandalwood, clary sage, geranium, clove, and lavender. But let me tell you, you do not smell the geranium, the clove, or the lavender at all. They just must be tiny amounts to balance it out. Because what you really smell is the vetiver and the sandalwood and the clary sage of all things. I really kind of don't even smell the patchouli either, but again, that's one of the oils that when you blend things, it balances stuff. So if you add tiny amounts, it just takes it to a whole new level, and yet you don't really smell that element. It's fascinating, essential oil blending, like just how just the amounts of what you put in, when it can be all the same 5 oils or however many oils, but it's the combination of how much of one rather than the other makes a certain smell. It's just fascinating. It's, again, the alchemy of that. So it's a pretty big bottle. I'm not going to use all of it. Use about, yeah, that's perfect, 3/4. And let's get this mixed up and start with the colors. And it is going to be colored with French green clay. So let's get that one going. I have my French green clay mixed with some of the measured olive oil, and I'm going to pour some off. For that first layer. Let's start a little bit. Because I'm using, there's going to be a heart embed in the middle, and I want this to be a different shade of green so that the green of that heart stands out. So that's perfect right there. We're going to get this poured into the mold. And it's thickening, and that is a good thing, because although I don't want perfect stripes, I do want there to be separation of the layers. Okay. So here is my heart column, and it was made with spirulina. So let's put that right in the middle of the green layer, but I don't want to push it all the way to the bottom. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And the idea of this now, the next chakra is the third eye, which is, its coloration is blue. So, and then the top layer will be the crown chakra, which its coloration is purple. And although purple clay makes a beautiful purple, it's not the right shade that I wanted. So I was really excited to do this video to show you that when you make an indigo infusion, as I've said before, you shake it every couple of days, and that kind of incorporates everything in. And when you want to use it as blue, you shake it before you make the soap. Well, if you don't shake it, the indigo settles to the bottom, and if you pour the oil straight off the top without shaking it, you'll get purple. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate it and then work in reverse. I'm going to put the purple in a bowl, and then I'm going to shake it and get the blue going. So let's do this one and pour some of the purple off the top. this a good stir without spilling too much. That's good for now. I'm going to stir it better when I have a bigger bowl to work with because I don't want to flop it out all over the counter. Okay, so now I put my lid back on. And you want to make sure that you get this nice and closed. Really make sure that you get everything from the bottom in. Okay, and then now pour the blue in. You can even see the difference of it just in the jar after you shake it. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm back in the morning to cut Be Here Now. Smells really nice. Let's see what we got here. Oh, right. So you have the light green clay, the spirulina heart, the dark blue indigo, and the blue violet of the other kind of indigo. And this will probably change shades as it has the air get to it and stuff, and as it cures. I'll put pictures at the end after it's been a couple of weeks to see what the indigos do. They constantly keep changing. So I will put a link to last year's video where I go into more detail about him and where I say a lot of his really amazing quotes. I mean, there's just too many to even put really into a video, but I do say some of my favorites of his in my last year's Be Here Now video. I wanted to do this soap for Earth Day month because I feel like it's really his message was for compassion for all people and all beings, and to heal. And really, if we can't heal ourselves and we can't heal our relationship to others, we have no hope of being able to heal our earth, to be able to conserve and recycle and consume less and all of these things, stop cutting trees. All of that comes from a place of compassion for the actual world. And if it's hard to do that when you don't even have compassion for yourself or your fellow human being. So that's the main reason I wanted to do this one for April. Also in honor of his birthday. So he was named Richard Alpert, and he was born on April 6th, 1931. As I said before, he was an intellectual, a very smart man. He became a Harvard professor. And in the 60s, his experiments with psychoactive, hallucinogenic, what we deem now drugs, yes. But his pursuit of that was in connecting us with God, in that sense of something higher than ourselves. And what's funny is now the research that he did in the early 60s with psilocybin, which is the active ingredient in hallucinogenic mushrooms, it's actually, in modern times now, they're utilizing his research in the treatments of severe depression, cancer, grief, and PTSD, especially in soldiers. There are some really wonderful studies going on right now using that in a controlled environment so that people can experience that without any kind of fear or anything, just a loving, comforting environment. So he went on from that. He wanted to pursue a feeling of that without having to use those substances. He wanted to feel that way all the time. And after he was let go from Harvard for those experiments, oddly enough, he ended up in India. He had traveled the world, but ended up in India, where he met the man that changed his life. And in his stay there is how he became who he ended up being. His teacher gave him the name Ram Dass, which means the servant of God. He is crucial in bringing yoga, breath work, meditation to our Western world. We knew of these things before him, but he really made them popular in the 60s and 70s at a time period when people really needed them the most, because Vietnam was a horrific war and the wars that followed, so it was a good time for people to practice ways of relaxing. And although he was born Jewish, he became Hindu, but he had love for all faiths. He had a belief in Christ and the Divine Mother herself. So his philosophy pretty much was that whatever the face you give God, all that matters is that you believe in God. This giving it a face and a name is all good, but that's what separates us from each other. So it's interesting, some of the green went up into the blue. That's pretty cool. And I wanted this soap design to kind of represent how he felt about things, that you live your life in the heart with compassion for all beings, but you keep your mind in the crown, in the sense of something greater than yourself, and away from the petty judgments. Because when you judge others, you're blocking yourself from the one love that encompasses creation, and that one love is God. So God doesn't want us judging each other. That's not what we're meant to do. I'm trying to cut this piece down. This piece is really big. He's one of my greatest heroes. I'd say him and Mr. Rogers are the most important. And his Be Here Now is one of the most, it actually is, between it and The Prophet by Khalil Gibran are the books that I are the two most important books of my life. Let's just say that. And I can't urge you enough to read it. Every time you read it, another passage will stand out to you and help you, guide you. It's just one of those things that you could read for the rest of your life. So now I'm going to do the stamping. And this is the symbol for the heart chakra. thank you so much for watching and hopefully listening to me preach my message, but it's really not my message. It's the message of someone who's touched my life and a book that touched my life. Be here now just means to live in this present moment, because we're not given tomorrow, and you cannot live your life in the past. Right now is, whether it's uncomfortable or pleasant, it is what we are given at each breath. So this soap and the others and a gift set will all be available in the next shop update, which will be on April 16th. Shop links are listed below. I'm going to link a playlist of mine that has Ram Dass's speeches also in the description and on the screen now after the photos. So if you'd like to see him for yourself. Thank you. Take care.